night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation.
Hey guys, Parfax here, and today we're going over the Firestaff Sword and Shield build you guys have been asking for. Alright, let's get started. So, I put up a video asking what build you guys wanted to see. You asked for this build, we put it up for a vote, and again, you guys voted for the Sword and Shield Firestaff. As you saw in the opening clips, this build is actually pretty good. Now, is this build incredibly overpowered or better than the Blunderbuss Ice Gauntlet build that I put up about a week, 2 weeks ago? No, this build is not quite that powerful, but is it as fun or it may be even more fun? It might just be. This build was a ton of fun. I 1v2'd quite a few times with this build. We even had some that I didn't actually record. We 1v2'd a few times. You'll see some 1v2 clips in the video. You actually have already seen basically 2 1v2s there at the very beginning. But this build was an absolute blast. Now, when it comes to this build, we're going to do it a little bit different. We're going to go over the kind of build part of it pretty quickly. We're going to go over the skill tree. We're going to go over what attributes I run, the gear that you need to have, and then we're going to get to some PvP clips. We have, I think, in total, including the very beginning, about 7.5 minutes of PvP clips. I wanted to show you guys a nice big chunk of that so you can really see the build in action because, you know, I said that pretty much every build is viable. And I want to prove that with a lot of clips. We probably could have done 20 minutes of clips. I actually just stopped recording, gameplay and just was playing it outright just because I was having a ton of fun with it. But I'd already had plenty of clips for the video. But yeah, it's been an absolute blast. So let's go ahead and get into it. So we are looking at the Firestaff tree. I thought about going a flamethrower build, and honestly, the first time I ran it, that's what I did, because you can go ahead and shield bash with the shield, and you can just flamethrower them as they're stunned, and it won't actually take them out. But I thought you guys might think that's a little too boring, because you guys don't typically like flamethrower. We thought about a regular Firestaff build with like Pillar of Fire, Fireball, and Burnout, or I guess I should say an OG Firestaff build, and I thought that's just not really fun to play, so we went with an Incinerate build. And it does a ton of damage. The big thing with Incinerate is actually being able to hit people with it, and the Sword and Shield kind of fixes that issue. So, like I said, we are going to Fireball, Incinerate, and Burnout, and yeah. So the left side of the tree, we really want Rune of Helios. This does a ton of damage for the build. We don't need Reheat because we don't really ever run out of mana at all. The only thing I can say here is if you want to change Catch for something like the Spell Focus passive, I can definitely see it because we really don't ever run out of magic at all. So I'd probably advise to do that for a little bit of extra cooldown reduction, but honestly, it's not a big deal no matter what. Next, we have to get the Pyromania because it is the first passive, but it does give us a little bit extra damage when we are holding our Firestaff in below 50% max health. And then we, of course, want Incinerate, and we want all the points down there, and we want all the points in Burnout. When it comes to the Sword and Shield, the very standard Sword and Shield build. The only thing that I will say is if you want to swap out Improved Rush for Elemental Resistance, I definitely see you can. It is actually a nice little defense here, but I do like the Weakened on enemies with this ability. So, pretty standard here. We are using Shield Rush to kind of set up the combo, along with Leaping Strike to close the distance. And then we're using Shield Rush to either weaken our targets, to kind of get a little stagger off on the targets, or we're using it a lot of times to like get out of grav wells and ice storms and, you know, anything that we really need to get out of. Shield Rush is actually a great ability to do it. I use it the same way when I'm running Firestaff Sword and Shield as I do like Great Axe, Hatchet, etc. So when it comes to attribute points, we are taking 350 intelligence and 150 con. Honestly, we took 50 points of the dexterity at first, and honestly, it just doesn't do anything. Or it's definitely not worth the damage loss. So we just went 350 int and 150 con. Now, when it comes to our gear, let's talk about the weapons first. So this was the weapon I used in most of the clips, which is the keen, vicious, and keenly jagged. Now, this isn't BIS by any means. I'd rather have something like keenly empowered or attunement here, even empowering fireball or stable incinerate. Those all here would be a great addition to the build, but this is just what we had. You can also use something like the Wildfire Touch is a very good one if you're not really looking to do the crit damage. And then we had a interesting one here with Keen, Stable Incinerate, Thwarting Strikes. Thwarting Strikes actually does give Stable Incinerate more damage. But honestly, it wasn't enough damage, and we felt very, very gimmicky with this. We didn't have a lot of overall damage, especially when it came to our Fireball. We did swap that out for our Keen, Vicious, Keenly Jagged. Now, I would like Keenly Empowered here is probably be what I would suggest the most. Either that or Empowering Fireball. Next, on our sword, honestly, you want attunement. Other than that, you just want stuff that's not on your shield. We have a little bit of non-bow with what I ran. We have enchanted here and enchanted here. But honestly, this was just a very good shield that I crafted a while ago. So it's hard for me to run a shield that doesn't have it. But you want attunement, enchanted, keenly empowered, vicious, keen, keen speed. If you can get it, you'd have to get that on your sword. And then fortifying shield rush, which can only go on your shield. And keen, you definitely want on your shield as well. Now, with all those kind of said, you do want on your sword specifically attunement, keen speed, and then whichever one of the other abilities you would like. And then the rest of those abilities you just want on your round shield. You'll have two abilities that won't be like your keenly empowered, enchanted, vicious, etc. And those you'll want keen for sure. And then either something like a refreshing or fortified shield rush is probably the best you can have on your shield. Other than that, the perks you're looking for overall, the top one is Incinerate. The second one is Fireball. The third one is Efficient Burnout. We have it down here somewhere right here. You want Efficient Burnout, and then you want Empowering Leaping Strike is your next one. Keep in mind that when you're running a sword and shield build, if this is the first time you've ran it, you have to run for light armor a round shield and all light armor. You can see here we have a light piece of gear on every single piece. So keep that in mind. For jewelry, we're just running very much named items: Champion's Amulet, Champion's Ring, and the Tempestuous Earring of the Scholar. This comes out of Tempest. So for gameplay, it's pretty simple. We, from distance, are going to use the Fire Staff to apply dots, deal big damage. We can do a fully charged heavy to a Fireball, is a ton of burst damage. You're going to see actually one-shot somebody with that combo. And then what we can do is things like Burnout into Incinerate if we think we can get that off. And then if not, our bread and butter and how we really do this playstyle is we're going to Leaping Strike, get the Shield Bash off, and then we're going to Incinerate them. So apparently we're going to go right through it, but we're just going to Shield Bash, dodge, and Incinerate. Now we have an opal in our Fire Staff, then we actually have a Lightning Gem in the sword. It doesn't really matter what you put here in your sword for a gem. You just need an elemental gem here because we're running a Fire Staff. Unless you have fire damage somewhere like on your, well, if you have it on your ring, then of course you want a ruby in here. But other than that, I typically try to pick something that is elemental that people don't typically gear for. So that's why I typically like lightning the best. So the reason why we're dodging when I say to Incinerate, we always try to hit the stun and then dodge and hit the Incinerate. As you can see there, you can actually dodge cancel your Incinerate. So what I like to do, and you're going to see this in a couple clips, you even saw that in the opening clip, is I will load up an Incinerate, trying to get people to either dodge or go to attack me, and I'll dodge, and then either Incinerate or I'll do a Fireball, or, you know, you can even, you know, you can do it like a cancel dodge, Leaping Strike, or you can do a dodge into, a cancel dodge into a Shield Bash, and then get them with the old Incinerate. This build is pretty self-explanatory. The one thing that I will say is do not sleep on the damage of the sword. The sword actually does a decent amount of damage. Does it pop off the charts? No. You can see here the attunement's doing right around 200 a hit. We're doing with backstabs upwards of about 2,000 in auto attack. It's not like we're stacking dex or strength, but it still does a lot of consistent damage. So if you were up close I do not just fire staff hit. Yes, you can do a little bit more, but it actually just feels like it's a lot more pressure. When you can hit them with this, you get the slows off with the third attack. And whenever you're ready and they try to do anything to you, just give them the old shield bash, dodge, incinerate. And then if they have any life left, you just get them with the old fireball and they're dead. You can, if you have efficient burnout, you can use the burnout into incinerate, like I said. But honestly, we just use that more for burnout into fireball, a lot more than burnout into incinerate. And we just kind of use that to, catch a target. If we can hit them with the burnout, we hit people and kill people a lot with burnout. Then we hit them with the good old fireball to get that double stacking empowerment from the empowering fireball and with the efficient burnout. So honestly, that's the build. There's nothing too crazy here. It was a ton of fun. You will just see clips. We just wanted to make this build more about the clips than the actual build itself. If you want to see me maybe do a larger review of the build, I can, but I think we got pretty much all the information in here on the video. It was a ton of fun. Let me know in the comment section down below what build you guys want to see next, because this was a ton of fun. And I think we're going to start making this more of a thing on the channel of just asking you guys what you want to see. It can be as crazy as you possibly want it, and I will bring you what I consider to be some entertaining builds. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Like always, enjoy these PvP clips, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have it douse, not what I'm about, have your cloud, it be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, I'm legend bound, can't stop me now.
You don't wanna fuck with me. A slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can.
Cause I just wanna hear it out your mouth, yeah. Give me fuel, it's a tool that I use to go ahead and run my mouth, yeah. I take shots, I take loss, I make shots, I miss lots. That's how you get big boss, you get yachts, you swing lots and pop off a big shot. I ain't done chasing, got big dreams, bigger things, impatient. Who's at the top think they need replacement? Who's at the top think I'm gonna erase them? Face it, I don't give up quick, I don't give up shit, I won't give up this. Cause I know that I want it, know that I'm on it, I'll make it, I promise.
You don't wanna fuck with me. A slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can.
Love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't stop. Just give me up. Don't stop. I'm so gone, no I'm never turning back. I won't stop, I'ma fight until there's nothing left. It's so on, you're gonna be hurting bad. Cause I've been to hell and back. You don't wanna make me mad, I stay strong, you will never see me crack. And if you get in my way, you're gonna feel the wrath. Gotta say it to my face while he's looking back. Mirror breaks after math, when I hate I attack. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I